My uncle tried to poison my grandma at her 85th birthday party to steal her inheritance. He claimed doctor's orders and kept her hidden. My wife had photos of a pill schedule and forged papers. I called 911 and the perfect caregiver left in handcuffs. Hey, Reddit. I thought my family was normal until my wife grabbed my wrist at my grandma's birthday. The police got involved and everything blew up. Before we get to that, let me start from the beginning. Nina's hand clamped around my wrist hard enough to hurt. This was panic grip. We were standing in my grandmother's living room. 43 people packed into a house built for maybe 15. My grandmother's 85th birthday party. Nina's face was white. Her breathing was fast. Bathroom, she whispered. Now. I followed her down the hallway. She pulled me into the guest bathroom and locked the door. Her hands were shaking. Logan, we need to leave right now. Don't ask questions. Don't make a scene. Just get our coats and walk out. I'd been married to Nina for 6 years. She didn't panic. But right then she looked terrified. What happened? I went looking for the bathroom. The main one was occupied. Someone said there was another one near the office. I walked down the back hall and I saw something. She pulled out her phone, showed me a photo she'd taken through a cracked door, a medication schedule taped inside a cabinet, handwritten, neat cursive, Zolpidem listed with times and doses, bedtime dose, then additional entries marked as needed for agitation with times. 9 a.m. marked calm, 3 p.m. marked rest, 9 p.m. marked settle, multiple entries per day. Today's date at the top, tomorrow's date below it. A week's worth of dates going forward. Whose handwriting is that? Nina said. I looked closer, recognized it. That's Diane's handwriting. Victor's wife. We all called her Aunt Diane, even though she married in. Nina swiped to the next photo, taken fast from the doorway. A desk covered in papers, document headers visible, quitclaim deed, power of attorney, last will and testament, all dated within the last 2 weeks, and a pill bottle on the edge of the frame, label partially visible. Zolpidem prescribed to Dorothy Henderson, filled 4 days ago. Where did you see this? The office. Door was cracked. They'd been in and out of it all day getting things ready. Printer running, documents stacked. Like they were so used to controlling the house they didn't even think to hide it. I was looking for the bathroom and I could see inside. Diane was in there with Brooke. They were talking about signatures and timing and making sure everything was ready for tonight. I took the photos quick and left before they saw me. Victor was my dad's older brother, 59 years old, insurance claims adjuster. Had been helping take care of Grandma Dorothy for the past 3 years since Grandpa died. Diane was his wife, 46, ran a boutique gift shop downtown. The boutique was struggling, but Diane always acted like everything was fine. Brooke was their daughter, 30, dental office manager. Still lived with them. They were the responsible ones. I stared at the photos. Nina, maybe it's legitimate estate planning. She grabbed my shoulders. Where's your grandmother right now? I thought about it. I'd walked through the whole house when we arrived. I hadn't seen Grandma anywhere. Victor said she was resting, that the party was too much for her. At her own birthday party. She's 85, she gets tired. Nina showed me another detail she'd zoomed in on. The pill bottle label. Directions partially visible. Take 1 tablet by mouth at bedtime. Filled November 20th. Today was November 24th. Sunday night, 4 days. The schedule showed bedtime doses plus multiple additional entries marked as needed for agitation. I heard Diane telling Brooke to give her the second dose before anyone tries to check on her, Nina said. Her voice was steady now. Logan, they're overdosing her. Tonight, at this party. With all these witnesses around so it looks like natural causes. We need to check on her, I said. 2 minutes. You get 2 minutes to verify. If you're not back, I'm calling 911 from the car. I opened the bathroom door, walked down the hallway toward the back of the house. 3 bedrooms back there. Grandma's room, the guest room, the office. Diane appeared in the hallway, already smiling. Logan, she said, looking for something? Just checking on Grandma. Haven't seen her yet. Oh, she's sleeping, sweetie. The party was overwhelming for her. Victor gave her something to help her rest. I tried to step past her. She moved slightly, blocked the hallway. I'd like to see her, just for a minute. Diane's smile didn't change. She's fine. Doctor's orders to let her sleep when she needs it. You know how she's been lately. So confused. Victor's been such a saint managing everything. When did the doctor say that? Oh, you know, her regular checkups. Dr. Stevens has been so concerned about her cognitive decline. We're all just trying to keep her comfortable. I heard movement behind me. Turned. Victor was walking down the hall. Big guy, 6'2", smiled when he saw me. Hey Logan, everything all right? Just wanted to check on Grandma. Mom's resting. Had to give her medication early. She was getting agitated. I tried again. Maybe I should just peek in. She's fine. Victor said. His voice had an edge now. Diane's keeping her calm. That's what the doctor said. Back off, Logan. 3 people between me and that bedroom door. Diane, Victor, Brooke. I walked back toward the living room. Nina was near the front door. Caught her eye. She saw my face and knew. But I wasn't leaving yet. Not without making this public. I stopped in the middle of the living room. Raised my voice just enough. Hey, Uncle Victor. Before we go, I'd like to see Grandma Dorothy real quick. Just to wish her happy birthday. Conversations nearby stopped. People turned, listened. Victor came out of the hallway. She's sleeping, Logan. Maybe later. It's her birthday, I said. I drove an hour to be here. I'd like to see her for 30 seconds. More people listening now. My dad, Aunt Carol, cousins watching. Diane appeared next to Victor. Soft voice. Concerned face. Logan, honey, she really needs her rest. The doctor was very clear. When she gets overstimulated, it makes the confusion worse. I'm not leaving until I see her. Victor's smile tightened. Logan, you're making a scene. I just want to see my grandmother. My dad stepped forward. What's going on? Nothing, Victor said quickly. Logan's just concerned about Mom, but she's fine. She's resting. Dad looked at me, then at Victor, then back at me. Nina touched my arm. We should go, she said quietly. Now. We grabbed our coats, walked to the front door. Aunt Carol stopped us. Leaving already? Nina's not feeling well. Migraine. We walked out, got in the car. Nina locked the doors, started the engine. You just made them very nervous, she said. Good. Now everyone heard me ask. Everyone heard them refuse. She drove 2 blocks, pulled into a gas station parking lot. She pulled up her phone, showed me one more photo I hadn't seen. A calendar page, November 24th, circled in red. Notes in the margin in Diane's handwriting. Final signature. Transfer Monday. Close remaining accounts Tuesday. First thing Monday, I said. They walk into the bank with power of attorney and start moving money. Nina nodded. If Grandma signs tonight, if something happens to her tonight, they walk in Monday morning and take everything. My hand was shaking when I pulled out my phone. My screen read 7:49 when I hit call. Dialed 911. The dispatcher answered. 911, what's your emergency? I need to report suspected elder abuse and a possible overdose in progress. My grandmother. I think my uncle and his wife are poisoning her. What's the address, sir? I gave her Grandma's address. The dispatcher's voice changed. Can you describe what you observed? My wife found medication schedules showing doses that don't match the prescription. Documents showing recent asset transfers. When I tried to check on my grandmother at her own birthday party, I was blocked by 3 family members and refused access in front of witnesses. Are you at the location now? No. We left. We're 2 blocks away. Officers are being dispatched. ETA 14 minutes. I need you to stay on the line. Do not return to the residence. Can you meet officers at the corner? We drove back and parked at the corner, like the dispatcher said. Watch the house. Nobody inside knew what was coming. My phone buzzed. Text from my dad. You guys okay? Carol said Nina wasn't feeling well. I didn't respond. 2 police cruisers turned onto the street at 8:03. No lights, no sirens. 4 officers got out. 2 approached the front door. 2 went around back. Here we go, Nina whispered. The front door opened. Aunt Carol standing there looking confused. The officer showed his badge, started talking. Carol stepped back. Let them inside. The music cut off. Then one of the officers came back out fast, spoke into his radio, ran back inside. Nina grabbed my hand. 3 minutes later, an ambulance arrived. Lights flashing. Paramedics grabbed equipment and ran inside. More police arrived. Family members started coming out of the house. My parents came out. Dad looked lost. Through the open front door, I could see movement. Hear raised voices. Then Victor appeared in the doorway, blocking it, hand on the doorframe, talking to someone inside. She's fine, his voice carried. She's sleeping. I'll take her to our family doctor tomorrow. A paramedic's voice. Firm. Sir, we need to assess her. Police requested a welfare check. I have power of attorney. She doesn't need an ambulance. Victor didn't move. A paramedic tried to step past. Victor shifted, blocked him. Dad was suddenly moving, walking toward the house, fast. Mom grabbed my arm. Come on, she said. We followed Dad. He pushed past Victor into the house. Victor tried to block him. Frank, this is ridiculous. Get out of my way, Dad said. Inside, 2 paramedics were at the hallway. Diane stood between them and the back bedroom. That same calm smile. One hand out. Gentlemen, she's resting comfortably. This is all a misunderstanding. Ma'am, step aside, one of the paramedics said. Diane touched his arm lightly. I really think... Do not touch me, he said. Sharp. Step back now. Diane's hand dropped. Her smile flickered. Dad stepped around her. Opened Grandma's bedroom door. Jesus Christ, he said. The paramedics moved past Diane. Into the room. Victor tried to follow. An officer blocked him. Sir, stay here. That's my mother. And these are paramedics doing their job. At 8:26, the paramedics came out with a stretcher. Someone small on it. Oxygen mask. IV running. Grandma Dorothy. A detective pulled up as they loaded her into the ambulance. Woman in plain clothes. 50s. Got out and went straight inside. I was out of the car. Running. An officer caught me. Sir, step back. That's my grandmother. You Logan Henderson? Yes. You called this in. Detective Morrison needs to talk to you. Inside. Dad was suddenly next to me. What's going on? What happened to Mom? The officer looked at him. Are you Frank Henderson? Yes. That's my mother. What's happening? She's being transported to County General. Possible overdose. Detective Morrison will explain. Overdose. Dad's face went white. That's impossible. Victor takes care of her medication. The officer didn't respond, just led me toward the house. Dad grabbed my arm. Logan, what did you do? I called the cops. You should come inside. You what? Mom appeared on Dad's other side. Frank, let him go. Something's wrong and we need to find out what. Inside, the living room was empty except for officers and the detective, and Victor, standing near the fireplace, face red. When he saw me, his expression went from shock to rage. You called the police? He said. On your own family? Detective Morrison stepped between us. Her name tag confirmed it. Mr. Victor Henderson, step back. And you're Logan Henderson? Yes. Come with me. She led me to the office. Papers everywhere. Documents in stacks. Laptop open. File folders labeled and organized. Walk me through it, Morrison said. I told her about the schedule Nina found. The blocked hallway. The public refusal in front of witnesses. Where's your wife? Outside. She took the photos. I'll need her statement. Morrison pulled out her phone. Showed me a photo of the pill bottle. Zolpidem prescribed to Dorothy Henderson. Filled November 20th. 30 tablets. The bottle is empty, Morrison said. And one of my officers checked the guest bathroom Nina used. There's residue in the trap. Looks like someone crushed pills and rinsed the powder. 30 tablets gone in 4 days. Your grandmother was found heavily sedated. Barely responsive. Slurred speech. Respiratory depression. The paramedic said her breathing was dangerously slow. Morrison pointed to the documents on the desk. Quitclaim deed dated November 18th. Power of attorney dated November 12th. New will dated November 15th. All signed with Dorothy Henderson's signature. And something else. A comfort care directive packet. Half filled out. Language about declining intervention. A hospice intake form with contact information written in the margins. That's not her signature, I said. The letters are too shaky. The spacing is wrong. We'll need handwriting analysis to confirm. But I agree. She put the documents in evidence bags. Based on the timeline and the medication levels, tonight was meant to be the endpoint. And these, she tapped the hospice forms, suggest they were preparing for reduced medical intervention if she deteriorated. You mean they were trying to kill her? I mean that level of sedation in an 85-year-old woman with probable existing health conditions creates a high probability of respiratory failure. Whether that was intended or accepted as a likely outcome, that's for the prosecutor to determine. How much are we talking about? Money? Morrison flipped through the most recent bank statements. This is bad, she said. Savings is down to about $12,000. Checking is under $2,000. The investment account has been mostly liquidated. There's around $71,000 left. She tapped a transaction list. These withdrawals and wire transfers have been happening for months. She nodded toward the rest. The real value is in the property, the house, and the Anaheim rental. That's what they were trying to grab next. She pointed to the calendar. Monday morning, they clean out whatever cash is left. Tuesday, they push the house sale and start moves on the rental. After that, your grandmother is either in a state facility or she doesn't make it. There was shouting outside. Victor yelling. Diane's voice trying to calm him down. Morrison stood. Let's go. We walked out onto the front lawn. The whole family was there now. Dad near the street, Mom next to him, Aunt Carol crying, cousins clustered together, neighbors on porches watching. Victor stood in the middle, arguing with two officers, Diane next to him, too calm, rehearsed concern. This is a misunderstanding, Victor was saying. I'm her son. I have power of attorney. These are legitimate estate planning documents. Sir, your mother was found with dangerous levels of sedation. If taken as directed, that bottle should still have most of the tablets left. It's empty. She must have gotten confused. Taken extra. That's why we need the POA. She can't manage her medication safely anymore. Mom stepped forward. When did Dorothy become confused, Victor? He turned, looked at her. Claire, this isn't your business. When? Mom repeated. Because last month at Thanksgiving she was sharp. She beat Frank at Scrabble. She told me stories about her childhood I'd never heard before. She has good days and bad days. Mom pulled out her phone. I have a voice message from her from 3 days ago. She called to ask about my lasagna recipe. She was completely coherent. Want to hear it? Victor's face went redder. That doesn't prove anything. Detective Morrison stepped forward. Brooke Henderson. Where is she? An officer brought Brooke out. She was crying, hands cuffed behind her back. Dad, she said. Dad, tell them. Tell them we were just helping Grandma. Shut up, Victor said. You said she wouldn't remember. You said it was temporary. You said, shut up right now. The family went silent. 43 people hearing Brooke panic and Victor telling her to stop talking. Mom walked up to Diane. I want to hear from you. You organized all this, didn't you? Diane's expression didn't change. Slight confusion. Concern. I don't know what you mean, Claire. We've been taking care of Dorothy. It's been exhausting. The medication schedule, Mom said. That's your handwriting. The calendar with the transfer dates. That's your planning. Those are caregiving notes. Dosage times. Appointment reminders. Marked as calm and rest and settle, Mom said. Multiple doses per day, disguised as agitation management for a medication prescribed once at bedtime. Diane smiled. Soft. Sympathetic. Claire, you've never been a caregiver. You don't understand how complicated it gets. Sometimes adjustments need to be made for the patient's comfort. Comfort, Mom said. You were sedating her into a coma. That's a terrible accusation. Detective Morrison interrupted. Diane Henderson, I'm going to need you to come down to the station for questioning. I haven't done anything wrong. We have photographs of handwritten schedules in your writing, showing medication dosages that don't match prescription instruction. We have documents showing asset transfers. We have a woman in an ambulance with potentially fatal levels of sedation in her system. You can come voluntarily, or I can arrest you. Diane looked at Victor. He looked away. I'll come voluntarily, Diane said. I have nothing to hide. Victor Henderson, Morrison said. You're under arrest for elder abuse, fraud, and unlawful poisoning. Additional charges will be determined after the hospital tox report and the DA's review. You have the right to remain silent. She read him his rights. Another officer cuffed him. This is insane, he said. I'm her son. I was taking care of her. You were killing her, Dad said quietly. Victor's eyes found mine. Pure hatred. They put him in a police car. Brooke in another. Diane got in a third car. No cuffs on her yet. The cars drove away. The party was over. Nina appeared next to me, put her arm around my waist. How are you? She said. I don't know. Dad walked up, stood there looking at us. You called the police on Victor? I did. You really think he was... Dad, I said. They found her almost dead. The pill bottle was empty. There are forged documents on the desk. What else do I need to think? Dad looked away, looked back. I just can't believe Victor would... Mom grabbed his arm. Frank, stop. Our son just saved your mother's life. Victor tried to kill her. Accept it. Dad's face crumpled. He stood there on the lawn of his childhood home. Police tape across the door. His mother in an ambulance. His brother in handcuffs. I need to see her, he said. I need to get to the hospital. We'll follow you, Mom said. County General. Emergency Department. They wouldn't let us see her at first. Family only, but the family member with authority was in police custody, and they didn't know who to trust. Mom handled it. Showed her ID. Explained the situation. Got Dad credentialed as the new emergency contact. It took 2 hours. Finally, a doctor came out. 50s. Tired. Name tag said Ramirez. Dorothy Henderson's family. We stood. Me, Nina, Mom, Dad. Aunt Carol, who'd followed us. Your grandmother is stable, Ramirez said. But I'm going to be blunt with you. Someone was poisoning her. The zolpidem levels in her blood are consistent with roughly 18 to 20 tablets, actually absorbed over the past 72 hours. That doesn't count what may have been crushed, spit out, vomited, or disposed of. That's not confusion. That's not accidental. That's systematic overdosing. How is she alive? Dad said. Luck. Good metabolism. Stubborn constitution. Another 12 hours, and we'd likely be having a different conversation. Can we see her? Not yet. She's sedated. We're running a full tox screen. We're also seeing signs of malnutrition and dehydration. Whoever was caring for her wasn't caring for her. That was my brother, Dad said quietly. Ramirez nodded. I've called Adult Protective Services. They'll be investigating. And I understand police are involved. Yes. Good. Because what I'm seeing here is attempted murder. I'll be documenting everything for the prosecutor. He left. We sat in the waiting room. My phone buzzed. Text from Detective Morrison. Need you and your wife at the station tomorrow morning. 9 a.m. Statements. I showed Nina. She nodded. Around midnight, they let us see Grandma, one at a time. 5 minutes each. I went first, walked into the room. She looked tiny in the hospital bed, but her eyes were open. Logan, she whispered. I'm here, Grandma. They told me what happened. She tried to smile. You and Nina, you saved me. We just made a phone call. My own son. Her voice cracked. Victor tried to kill me. I know. I felt it happening. The past few weeks. I couldn't think straight. Couldn't remember things. Couldn't stay awake. I thought I was dying. Thought it was dementia. It was the drugs. Diane was always there. Always helpful. Always making sure I took my medicine. She paused. I tried to refuse once. Told Victor I wanted to see my own lawyer. That night, he gave me so many pills I don't remember the next 2 days. We're not going to let them hurt you anymore. She closed her eyes. Tears leaked out. My own son. And his wife. They looked at me and saw money. Nothing else. Dad went in next. Stayed for 10 minutes instead of 5. When he came out, his eyes were red. She told me everything, he said. About trying to refuse. About being forced to take pills. About signing things she couldn't read because her vision was blurred and her hands wouldn't work right. He looked at me. You were right. Victor tried to murder her. I know. I didn't believe you. I should have believed you immediately. You believe me now. That's what matters. Mom went in last. Came out looking focused. She wants us to pursue every possible charge, Mom said. Criminal and civil. She wants them destroyed. Good, I said. We left the hospital around 2 a.m., drove home. Nina and I collapsed into bed. Didn't talk, didn't process, just laid there until morning. The next few months were chaos. After the toxicology results came back, the DA added attempted murder to Victor's charges. Victor and Brooke were formally charged. Victor with attempted murder, elder abuse, fraud, forgery, poisoning, and grand theft. Brooke with conspiracy, fraud, and forgery. Diane was questioned but not arrested. Yet, she maintained that perfect concerned face, claimed she was just helping, just following doctor's orders, just trying to keep Dorothy comfortable. The forensic accountants got involved. The timeline they built was devastating. Victor had been systematically draining Grandma's accounts for 19 months, forging checks, making wire transfers, selling investments, total theft, $520,000. He'd spent it on cars, house renovations, trips to Vegas, paying down his mortgage. By the time police caught him, there was maybe $85,000 left. The house sale was supposed to be the final piece. Another $420,000 that would have put the total over $900,000. But the accountants found something else. Text messages between Victor and Diane. Not enough to prove intent clearly, but enough to show coordination. Diane texting dosage times using euphemisms. Diane reminding Victor to keep her calm. Diane planning the timing of document signatures. And they found handwriting practice sheets. In Brooke's apartment. 40 pages of Grandma's signature. Over and over. Getting better each time. Victor had coached her. Told her to make it shakier. More trembling. Like arthritis. The prosecution built their case slowly, methodically. Medical experts, handwriting analysts, pharmacy records, bank statements. Grandma spent 3 weeks in the hospital. Detox was brutal. Withdrawal symptoms, confusion, panic attacks. She'd been on high doses of sedatives for so long her body had adapted. Coming off them was agony. When she finally cleared, when her mind was sharp again, the cognitive evaluation showed she was fine. No dementia, no impairment, just an 85-year-old woman who'd been drugged into near death by her own son. The family fractured. Some people believed us immediately. Mom, Aunt Carol, my cousin Jennifer. They saw the evidence and accepted it. Others defended Victor, made excuses, said there must be a misunderstanding, said we were overreacting, said we'd destroyed the family. My Uncle Paul, Victor's younger brother, actually called me. You know you ruined Thanksgiving, he said. Grandma's alive because we called the police. You humiliated Victor. You got him arrested at Mom's birthday party, in front of everyone. He was murdering her. That's not proven yet. Paul, they found her nearly dead. The pill bottle was empty. There are forged documents. Maybe she was confused. Maybe Victor was just trying to help. I hung up, blocked his number. Diane played it perfectly for weeks. The concerned daughter-in-law, the confused helper, hadn't done anything wrong, was just supporting her husband, didn't understand why everyone was so upset. She tried to visit Grandma twice. Hospital staff blocked her. Police had issued a no-contact order. Then, the text messages surfaced. A deleted conversation between Diane and Brooke, recovered from Brooke's phone during evidence collection, dated 2 weeks before the party. Diane, second dose at 3. Make sure she takes both. Brooke, what if she refuses Diane? Don't give her the choice. Crush them in her food. Brooke, okay, Diane. And keep everyone away from the back hall during the party. Your dad will handle the signatures. Another exchange from 3 days before the party. Diane, Monday, we transfer everything. Tuesday, house closes. Wednesday, we're free. Brooke, what about Grandma Diane? She'll be in a state facility. Or she won't. Either way, it's handled. That last line. Either way, it's handled. The prosecutor charged Diane with conspiracy to commit murder, elder abuse, fraud, and obstruction of justice. She was arrested at her boutique, cuffed in front of customers. That perfect mask finally cracked. She screamed, cried, said she'd been trying to help, said we were all lying. Nobody believed her anymore. Brooke took a plea deal in February, agreed to testify against both Victor and Diane in exchange for reduced charges, conspiracy and fraud only. No attempted murder. Recommendation for 4 years. Eligible for parole after 2. Her testimony was brutal. She described how it started. Victor complaining about Grandma's money. She described Diane pushing. Questions about estate planning. Suggestions about power of attorney. She described the first forged check. How scared she'd been. How Victor had told her it was temporary. She described the progression. More checks. Wire transfers. Investment liquidations. She described practicing the signatures. 40 pages over 6 months. Victor coaching her. And she described the medication schedule. How Diane had researched Zolpidem. Planned the escalation for the final week. Bedtime dose plus supplemental doses throughout the day, Brooke testified. Morning, afternoon, evening. Diane said it would keep her compliant. Keep her from asking questions or calling anyone for help. And if something went wrong during the party, if she just stopped breathing, it would look like natural causes. Old lady, heart attack, respiratory failure. Nobody would question it. The prosecutor asked the question, did they intend to kill her? Brooke looked at the jury. Diane said either way we win. If Grandma survived, she'd be too impaired to contest anything. If she didn't survive, we'd have everything before anyone could stop us. The courtroom went silent. Victor's trial started in March. He maintained his innocence. Claimed he was just helping, just managing her affairs. Claimed the medication was prescribed. The signatures were real. The transfers were legitimate. The prosecution destroyed him. They showed the pharmacy records, the forged signatures, the spending, the texts, the medical evidence. If they'd waited another 12 hours, he said, I don't think she would have survived. The jury deliberated 6 hours, found Victor guilty on all counts. Diane's trial was 3 weeks later. She tried the concerned wife defense. The prosecution showed the texts, the medication schedule in her handwriting, the pharmacy consultation, the research on sedative overdoses on her computer, witness testimony, the calendar, Brooke's testimony. Jury deliberated 4 hours. Guilty on all counts. Sentencing came in May. The courtroom was packed. Grandma in the front row. The judge was a woman in her 60s. Judge Patricia Coleman. Victor Henderson, she said, you systematically drugged, abused, and attempted to murder your own mother for money. You did this over 19 months. You stole over $500,000 from her. You forged her signature 43 times. You enlisted your wife and daughter in your scheme. The state recommends 15 years, Coleman continued. The defense asks for 8 years. I'm sentencing you to 18 years in state prison. No possibility of parole before serving at least 12 years. Additionally, you will pay full restitution. The $520,000 stolen plus $200,000 in legal fees and damages. Total $720,000. If you cannot pay, your assets will be seized and sold. Victor's lawyer objected. Coleman overruled. Sentence stood. Diane Henderson, Coleman said, you were the architect of this scheme. You planned it. You coordinated it. You researched the medications. You set the timeline. You gave the orders. Diane stood there, face red, crying. The state recommends 12 years. The defense asks for 5. I'm sentencing you to 16 years. No parole before 10 years served. Full restitution of $720,000. Brooke got 4 years. Judge took the plea deal. She'd be out in 2 with good behavior, but her felony record would follow her forever. Dental office fired her. Career over. The financial consequences hit fast. Victor's house was seized, sold at auction. His cars taken. His boat. Everything liquidated. Diane's boutique closed. Assets frozen. Inventory sold. Property seized. Between them, they recovered about $260,000. Not nearly enough, but the bank's fraud protection covered another $200,000. That still left us about $60,000 short of the stolen money. And that didn't even touch legal fees and damages, but enough to rebuild. Losing their reputation hurt them more than losing the money. Victor lost everything. Everyone knew what he'd done. Diane became toxic. Her friends dropped her. The family members who defended them went quiet. Grandma restructured everything, sold the rental property, put all proceeds in a trust managed by Dad and Aunt Carol. Professional oversight, regular audits. Nobody could touch it without multiple approvals. She hired a new caregiver, Anna, 52, former nurse, moved into the guest room, kept detailed logs, medication times, visitors, everything documented. She changed her will. Everything split between me, Dad, and Jennifer. Victor got nothing. Brooke got nothing. Diane explicitly excluded with language that made sure she couldn't contest it, even if Victor died first. We visited every Sunday. Me and Nina, Mom and Dad. Made sure she was safe. Made sure Anna was treating her right. Made sure nobody tried to manipulate her again. 3 months after sentencing, Dad asked to meet me for lunch, a diner near my work. We ordered. Finally, he put down his coffee. I need to tell you something, he said. About that night. About Victor. Okay. When you called the police, when you said he was hurting Mom, I didn't believe you. I thought you were overreacting. Thought there must be some explanation. He looked at me. I chose to believe my brother over my son. You were in shock. No, that's an excuse. The truth is, I've spent my whole life making excuses for Victor. He was the oldest, the favorite, the responsible one. And I was just Frank, the younger brother who never measured up. So when you said he was a monster, my first instinct was to protect him, to defend him. Because if Victor was that bad, what did that say about me for always being in his shadow? Dad, let me finish. He grabbed my hand across the table. You saved my mother's life. You did what I should have done. You believed the evidence over family loyalty. And I fought you on it. I made you question yourself when you were doing the right thing. He paused. I'm sorry. I should have believed you immediately. Should have trusted you. Should have protected you instead of protecting him. We're good, I said. Are we? Because I keep thinking about what would have happened if you'd listened to me. If you'd backed down. If you'd convinced yourself it was nothing. Mom would be dead. Victor would have gotten away with it. And I'd have helped him do it by making you doubt yourself. But that didn't happen. I didn't back down. And Grandma's alive. Because of you. Not because of me. We ate in silence for a while. Then Dad spoke again. Your mom and I are going to make sure this never happens again. We've set up the trust. We're doing weekly check-ins with Anna. We're keeping detailed records. And if anyone ever tries anything like this, we'll act immediately. No hesitation. No family loyalty over safety. Good. And I want you to know, he said, if there's ever a situation where you see something wrong, where you think someone's being hurt, I'll believe you. First. Without question. You've earned that. I nodded. Didn't know what to say. We finished lunch, went our separate ways. But something had shifted. Dad had finally let go of the image of Victor as the good son. Had finally seen what was real instead of what he wanted to believe. 6 months after sentencing, my phone rang at work. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer. Hello? Logan. It's Diane. You're in prison. I'm calling from prison. Her voice was different. Harder. I've been thinking about you. About what you did. How you better hope people forget eventually. Is that a threat? It's a reminder. Things change. Situations evolve. You'd be surprised how many ways life can circle back. I hung up. Called Detective Morrison immediately. Prison calls are recorded, she said when I explained. I'll get the tape. File charges for witness intimidation. This is serious. Can she actually get to us? Not if I have anything to say about it. This call just extended her sentence and gave us grounds for a permanent restraining order. Morrison filed the new charge that afternoon. Because Diane was already incarcerated, the case moved fast. Recorded call, clear threat, no ambiguity. Within a few weeks, Diane took a plea on witness intimidation to avoid a separate trial, and the judge added 2 years. Now 18 total. Parole eligibility pushed from 10 years to 12. A permanent restraining order was issued, and the court added a strict no-contact condition to any future parole. If she ever came within 500 feet of us, she'd be arrested immediately. New felony charge, and a parole violation on top of it. Nina and I got the notification a week later. The additional sentence, the order, the protection, life moved forward. Grandma recovered, started going to her book club again. We celebrated her 86th birthday. Small party, 20 people, no drama, no police, no ambulances. Grandma stood up to make a toast, raised her glass of sparkling cider. To Logan and Nina, she said, who saw evil and didn't look away, who acted when everyone else would have stayed quiet, who saved my life and gave me these extra years. We drank. Later that night, just the 4 of us on the porch, Grandma grabbed my hand. You know what the hardest part is? She said. What? I still love him. Victor. He's still my son. And knowing what he did, knowing he tried to kill me, that doesn't make the love go away. It just makes it hurt worse. I know. But I'll never forgive him. Never speak to him again. He's dead to me now. Not because I hate him, but because loving him would mean excusing what he did. And I can't do that. You don't have to. She squeezed my hand. You did something most people can't do. You chose right over easy. You chose a vulnerable person over family peace. That takes courage. Don't ever doubt that. Nina leaned against my shoulder. We sat there as the sun set, quiet, together. Inside the house, through the window, I could see Anna logging medication times, Dad and Mom in the kitchen, the trust documents locked upstairs, restraining orders active. Victor was in prison. Diane was in prison. The money was partially recovered. The family was split and wouldn't heal. But Grandma was alive, protected, safe. We'd done that. Not the system, not luck, not chance. Us. We'd seen it, acted, pushed through, made the hard call. And when it was over, when the dust settled, we were still standing. That was enough. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that subscribe button. It really helps the channel and help us bring you more and better stories. Thanks.